and welcome to another insightful webinar hosted by Lead Square. Today's topic of discussion is customer service is the new sales, is it the next big growth engine? In this session, we will have insightful conversation with industry leaders as they explore how forward-looking BFSI organizations are rethinking support as a revenue enabler, not a cost center, and building agile omnichannel customer support teams. I would like to now welcome our esteemed panelists. First up, we have Dr. Kumaran Sampath, a distinguished trailblazer in the banking and finance sector, currently serving as the Managing Director and CEO of EGMA Capital Services. With over 27 years of extensive leadership experience, he has significantly influenced retail lending and financial services in India, having held diverse roles at national, zonal, and regional levels across scales, marketing, policy, and product assignments. Next up, we have Ms. Aarti Krishnamurthy, Head of Customer Service at Hinduja Housing Finance, bringing over 20 plus years of experience in customer experience and service operations. She leads service delivery across across companies' nationwide network, driving efficiency, consistency, and customer satisfaction. Aarti is known for her strategic approach to enhancing client experiences in the BFSI industry. And in her previous roles, she has worked with bigger companies such as HDFC Bank and Citibank. Next up, we have Mr. Praful Dwivedi, CTO at CRG Housing Finance Limited, bringing 28 years of experience in driving technology-led innovations. He spearheads development and implementation of scalable tech solutions to optimize loan processing and enhance customer experience. Under his leadership, CRG's technology initiatives have led to faster loan turnaround times, deeper rural outreach, and a responsive digital framework. And lastly, we have our moderator for today's session, Mr. Ashish Najavan, Vice President of Key Accounts BFSI at Lead Square. He works closely with some of India's top financial institutions to drive digital transformation and customer-centric growth. With over 20 years of experience across BFSI segments, Ashish brings deep domain expertise and a sharp understanding of how financial businesses can scale through technology. Thank you so much to all our panelists for joining today's session. And before we deep dive into the session, I would like to also welcome all our attendees and audience and would really urge them to put in their questions, their comments, anything that they would want to ask the speakers in the comment and the question box, and we will try to entertain as many questions as we can towards the end of the session. Thank you so much, everyone. Over to you, Ashish.
Thank you, Ashna, and welcome everyone, all the participants and all panelists. This is going to be a fairly interesting session. In this world today, customer truly is the king, isn't it? And we've seen how the whole engagement with customers is changing as we move to the future, and including the channels, right? So look forward to the session. I'll start with my first question to Mr. Praful. In housing finance, where loan tenures span years, how are you ensuring a consistent borrower engagement post disbursement?
Hi, thanks, Ashish. I think what you started saying is the customer is in a king, and definitely customer is a king. Now, when you look to anything other than the housing finance or the loaning systems, we associates with customers for almost of his half of life, which is even though we do in a loan processing in a weeks or a lesser than that, but he's associated with his goals, his cherished part of it, his life. He is interacted with us. So if we really look in terms of saying that how do we interact with the customers and how to leverage, I think it becomes as an extended part of our life. And
Right.
he becomes as in a part. Like what we as Saji also feels is in the same manner of it is that he's part. And I really shares few of the things in terms of what needs to be and how we do it. The one of the following basic mantra which we really feel it, or my personal view is always connected. Because one of the
Right.
saying is out of sight is out of mind. How do you really get connected with the customer is the key during the journey of his complete tenure of 10 years or 20 years. And when we talk about it in this, what we really mean is if you are connected with the customers on your day-to-day basis part of it, you keep them with yourself as well as they feels as in a part of your journey. Three
Right.
basic principles when we talk about it. One of them is communication. how frequent, and how communicated or connected. So communications, connected, and compliances are the three things, or the three pillars of basically when you look in terms of complete 20 years of a journey part of it. Ideally,
Right.
industry long back was doing more of a transactional call with the customers.
Mm,
Nowadays, the things has been changed. It's not only the transactional call, but it is more beyond transactional call in terms of relationship building also.
mm,
Giving you a smallest example is that, let's say, giving in a message of only in a birthday wishes of or in an festive wishes, it becomes as in a one way or a two-way communications with the customer, so that you really feel it that you are connected with him during his journey. Because every day will not be in a sunny day. You will feel
yeah.
sometimes in a life where you really struggles with your things, and when you understands that with the customers, he appreciates that part also. So that's few things which we keep on mind. And now how we can really do this is monthly check-in calls, emails, dedicated customer support. So now ideally the customer support has moved from support to a services, and gradually it will become more. So that's the one of the few things which I feel it. I think the bottom line of this is his majority of the tenure remains with the organizations, and if you really keep always connected with him,
Great.
that's something which will help you to build a bonding between both of them.
Brilliant, brilliant. I think a few takeaways that I see is one, it's an emotional moment when a person buys. Right? It's a key moment, and as Indians, I think for all of us, it's a very emotional moment. And then you are building a relationship for the next 20, 30 years. It's a long tenure. So I understand the being connected, being there at specific moments for them, so that you are a part of that relationship and you build that relationship. That is how you talk about, right? And that brings me to the second question for Ati, and that is, because this is a long relationship, and as Praful rightly said, because you're nurturing that relationship. So during that cycle, how does the support team uncover borrower needs post disbursement, right? Because as you're a part of a long life cycle, so it'll have different needs. How do you uncover those needs post disbursement, and how does that lead to product enhancements, right? And that's for you, Ati.
Yes. Thank you so much for setting up the uh, arena and the stage. Uh, as you rightly said, we have to engage with the customers throughout 24/7, round the clock. So that is where our omni-channel, our digital platforms keeps playing a major role over here. Now,
Mm,
when we say the journey is with them for 20 years, which is a very emotional connect with them, their basic requirements are post disbursement. They want to know their repayment details, their tenure, their EMI, or whatever was told by the sales. They just want to get a reassurance whether it's the same thing, which is what they have signed up for the rest of their journey in 20 years. So that is when a very
nice.
frequent flyer, that is a confirmation, is what we have to give to the customer, but immediately giving him without asking. Even without
Mm-hmm.
he asking us, we should be in a platform to give him his repayment schedule. We'll show his entire tenure, his rate of interest. What was proposed and what was promised is what is being established, and that is what is being delivered also. And the most important things, he should not be coming to us and asking us. We have to be proactively giving it to him so that he builds that trust over a period of time, because he also learns the journey, we also learn the journey along with him, because that is when it comes what are his needs, where we could substantiate and give him more requirements. So it is a journey of learning and improvising continuously.
Brilliant. That's amazing. And I think few takeaways is propose versus promise versus deliver. That's a very key thing, right? Because that's building the trust. And
Yes.
the other thing you spoke about was the proactive communication. And that brings me to the third question, and that's for Dr. Kumaran, that how does proactive customer support influence timely repayments and reduce default rates in your organization? Because it's a long relationship, and during those we'll all have our highs and lows and those moments, right? And how do you actually proactively ensure that during this cycle you're with them, and then enabling them to make the timely payments?
I think it's a very, very fascinating evening and a wonderful opportunity to speak about customer service because it's a very, very critical subject in our business. And I think Ashish, you said it right. Customer is a king. I actually, what I read these lines in all the retail shops. Customer is a king and king never bargains. Okay. Now I would rephrase it to customer is a king and the king never compromise. Okay. We have
True.
worked for a period of time, and today there is absolutely no compromise. There is no. We have very limited time to make the customer delight. At the same time, the world is completely evolved the way it was and the way we are today. I can't even imagine I could get a grocery in 5 minutes, okay, and I could still pull up the grocery owner for not delivering the particular goods in 5 minutes. So I think the world is completely evolved. I think digitally, if you look at, we are in a very different world altogether. So here comes a very critical subject. Okay, the most important factor of any lending activity is repayment. And how do you curtail delinquency while you pick and choose a business model? While I say this business model, it's very critical to engage the customer as well. What to say, right from the beginning of the deal, you engage with him. You actually explain him a complete flow of the particular loan, the process, and the offering. What we have could be a rate, a tenure, but it actually covers the entire basic needs of the customer. Are we going to engage further? What are fulfilling his needs is the first aspect. The second aspect, once you close the deal and then you move on, because that is where delinquency comes in. Okay, you start with an alert. Okay, I can't imagine. I still remember for my own personal loans or home loans, I could get a call from the bank and say, "Sir, please keep money in your account. Okay, the EMI is going to hit." Okay, wow. I think the world is changed now. You get reminders at least 15 days in advance. We get reminders in 10 days in advance. We get reminders in 5 days, a week in advance. So we also follow the same thing. We keep the customers alert because that's the most important what I mind recall for is EMI commitments. Sometimes, generally, if you look at our customers actually miss out on the EMI dates or the at least when you want to start the journey with the customer in the beginning of the let's say 2 or 3 months time. So that's the vintage actually customers generally miss out. So we keep that alerts on, and obviously we also try to engage with the customer proactively. Try to reach out him on a mail or obviously the alerts will always go and always the moment he is not able to what is the respond, obviously we have social media or we have the other emails to intimate the customers on their emails. At last but not the least, I would say any company or including ours, okay, a loan management system is very critical because that is how you have to track the customers and that is how you follow up with the customers and make sure the EMIs actually are tracked. So I think this challenges actually comes in the first 2 or 3 months. Posted, I think you engage with them better. And always, I always feel our business will be largely focused on the vehicle loans. If you're able to show that kind of empathy and a kind of an emotional connect with the customers, I'm sure I think it's a good journey with the customers. It's not always about the tech what usage to make sure you connect with the customer. You also engage personally as well. Yeah. So and at times what is it? Okay, the flexible repayment option or the loan or whatever requirement. Sometimes the customer would actually take a okay in the beginning, but he's not able to repay. For example, let's say my system is talking about a 36 months tenure, but the customer needs 48 months or a 60 months tenure. If I'm able to accommodate that and take care of his a smaller EMI to accommodate his comfortable repayment, I'm sure I think most of the cases the repayment would be good, and that's how the customer also will be more comfortable. Yeah. So these are the basic things we follow, and yeah.
Great. A few keywords that I take is flexible repayment in accommodation, and that all ties into empathy. And on the vehicle loan side, also it's a proactive engagement post the purchase, so that you build that connect, and then you also build the empathy, understand the situation, and then you also provide them the flexible options if needed, right? And that's great. That's nurturing a relationship, right? And so that the next buy or the next loan is again from you. right? And there's a classic thing you just mentioned about alerts coming in. I think we all experienced that, isn't it? That please keep your money in the account. Never thought we would do that. But and the next question is for Praful and Aarti is taking just the cue forward on the digitization and the technology. The next wave of technology that we are starting to see is AI and machine learning, right? Which is Gen AI actually, and that's really starting to kick in now because it's starting to mature. And and now the opportunity to not just be proactive but also to personalize your customer interactions is increasing, right? So question for both of you and is how are AI and machine learning being utilized to personalize customer interactions in NBFCs and housing finance companies, right? For all types of loans.
Yeah, so the first thing, if you notice, WhatsApp is being the basic and the most communicative and a high recognized communication between, the connect between the customers and us. And the customers are so easy to access WhatsApp. So predominantly, we have to target our tier 2 and tier 3 markets also. So that brings up with our multilingual language coordination and communication with them. Keep it simple. Mantra is keep it simple. Give them proactive informations, give them timely reminders, give them in their regional language. It's just at a click of a button. So it is a predefined. So we need to have a bot or an AI developed in such a fashion where it is just at a click of a button. Would you like to have, this is your EMI date? Hope you understand. For example, yes. So that gives also a confirmation back to us saying that, yes, the person has understood, and we also take a kind of not a written communication, but kind of a consent from him.
Right.
Consent from, because in today's thing, we also require the consent, and we don't want footfalls in the branch. So sitting today, we do all our mobile banking through our mobile. And we want to sit in our place and we want to do the entire banking transaction like the olden days, going to the branch, standing in the queue, giving the money to the telecounters. We are come away from that. Today, we don't want footfalls in the branch. So, also understanding the regional language and communicating in their own, we also have to emphasize this to our sales team, where, we have to give them timely, product knowledge. We have to also engage them, make them understand the customer's need and really empathize what the customer needs. So if
Right.
each and every time the functionality of a product changes, we have to engage them. A quick 10 minutes or a quick refreshment of what's happening in the next 15 days, engage with them so that our deliverable is good. So if the WhatsApp is not working, then an SMS. So today we also have to build the bot in such a way that, all the answers are feedden. So we are in the process, but I just wanted to touch upon this where we do welcome calling for our customers through our bot in the engagement. So the minute the bot talks, every question answers clarification to the customer's needs. The minute the set questions are not coming, we immediately push it to a human agent. So the continue
Nice.
within 5 seconds, 5 to 7 seconds. So the breathing time for the bot is only 2 seconds. So the minute it comes back to the human agent is able to really answer what the customer. So we are not leaving the customer in dark. So
Right.
that perfection is very important. So they should not feel that okay, something is wrong, I'm not getting an answer. Is it trust or is it fraud is happening? Being in the market
Right.
where so many frauds are happening, to continuously build on the trust is something which comes with an
Great.
experience.
So that's AI acting as the front line for starting the communication. Then to build the trust, you also have the human agent. I'm
Yes.
wondering, will it be not too
Right.
long, too far away?
I,
Where, yeah, maybe a bot
okay.
would be asking the questions on my behalf.
Not really. I was.
But it does happen. You will not be able to find a difference between whether it is a bot or a human. Here we want
True.
to engage the customer continuously, but we keeping it engaged. So the language, the modulation, that's where the experience part, because we need to feed in the bot with our experience of, the industry practice or what would the customer expect, those kind of
Right.
questions. Yes, yes.
Right.
It's quite a challenge, but it is very interesting because we also learn and we also develop ourselves, in this present scenario.
Brilliant, brilliant. And Praful, wanted to come in?
Right. I think I'll take an example from where Sampath shared is that in today's time frame, time is money, and customers' general statement is he doesn't want to wait for a longer duration because we are living in an era where you get everything in 10 minutes through Swiggy or any other, or in 30 minutes as in a pizza. I recall my old days when I took my first loan, it took almost 21 days. And I think today's generations where things are moving in that direction, customers' criticality is about the time to serve him, the customer interaction. And when we look to this, definitely the technologies which we need to use it, I think AI ML do need to be as in a need of time because everyone is, they have everything else in the life except time. And being as in a customer to serve him, I think we really, really need to it. I give you a classic example. If we really look to the data which has been accumulated across all the NBCs or HFCs, the
Mhm.
huge data size is around 181 gigabytes. Now, as in a human, if I want to filter it out and do any analysis or give it the answers to the customers, I think it's challenging. And that's where AI and ML comes. The challenges for us is because this AI and technology is more evolving and there's
True.
flooded with n number of solutions in the market. And I will go with Artist where she shared one thing in which I really keep it in terms when I took in technology is that whatever the technologies you adopt into your systems, keep it in terms of terminology which is called as KISS, that is keep it simple and stupid.
Yeah.
If you are able to make it simple and stupid, I think you will be able to achieve your goals, what you need. I think as in automation, when you do in the customer interaction in the loan processing, a self verifications and that also it speed up his processes. Post sales, I would agree is in terms of that AI and then how do I really interact with customers saying that upfront is that educating him that your dates are coming for the EMI payment or your loans and interacting with him through AI bot. There are n number of technologies. What we need to choose it in terms how do we use it, and both the places during the loan life cycle as well as post disbursement, both the places data is a key. And on top of it, AI and ML, we use it to really give the satisfaction to the customer and interacting with him to help him to achieve his goal. Because ultimately, we want customer to get success. And if he is successful in achieving his goal, I think we will be successful in our part of it. So that's the key part, and I will leave it with one point which I really, I think it's in one of the famous saying is that believe on God or data. So data becomes a king nowadays, and so that's where AI
Right.
and ML we are using in a lot for doing this all analysis and helping customers to achieve their goals. I think
Yeah. No, that's interesting point. I want the data that is there. And when I think of it, basically what we're saying is AI is actually complementing uh, uh, humans because today in the age where we are all impatient and the new generation is all about the 5 minute delivery, so there's instant gratification, so you don't want customers to wait. So if a call comes in, you can have as many service agents, right? But AIs can spawn and take the first call, ensure that they are engaging. And not just that, in the life cycle of a customer, what Prafulli also mentioned is that you're also using AI to actually engage more frequently with the customers on their channel of preference, right? And that's very, very interesting. And in fact, next question is for Dr. Kumaran, is on this multilingual side that Aarti briefly touched, right? I'm aware that with AI today, the way it's evolving, support for multilingual vernacular systems, languages, etc., is really, really starting to scale up, right? And so, how has the integration of multiple multilingual support systems, right, impacted customer satisfaction in tier two and tier three markets, right, and also probably in the regional markets? So, if you can just come on that.
Yeah. No, I think it's really interesting. I think I would like to share one data. I think
Mhm.
thanks to the COVID of the world, so we all actually got into the webinar, and it was a regular phenomena getting into webinar. I still remember there was one webinar around 2021, and I was sharing a data that the overall number of users of the mobile phones in India were around out of the population what we had then, maybe around 138 crores. So we had 44% of people using mobile phones. Okay, then it was very interesting for tier one, tier tier two, and tier three cities, because we always assumed those what to say areas or those kind of customers using mobile phones was very minimal, or they had very limited opportunity for a kind of a better internet service. So it was a kind of a myth, but we always kept our fingers crossed. But trust me, I think world is evolved, and I was just trying to re-pull the data. As of 2025, 82% of our Indian population, okay, use or have mobile phones. That's absolutely humongous in terms of the kind of growth what has happened. So 82% for a population of 140 crores people using mobile phones. Trust me, I think that's a massive growth in terms of digital, or I would say the kind of technology what has grown. So here comes the okay. From where did the growth come? Most of the times in our businesses, we always focus on the tier one city, the largest cities in this country. But if you look at the retail loans, or if you have to get in your high yield model, or if you have to get a high yield business, it always comes from the tier two and tier three cities, because there you have very limited opportunities. And this data I'm trying to recall could be a decade back, but I think the world is evolved now. Things have improved. The infrastructure is developed. I think tier two cities or tier one cities have no difference now. Everybody is competing very equally. So so the challenge is obviously I think the language, because most of the times if you're in a tier two city, you are actually stuck to your own local languages. So the most of the companies have actually learned this art of trying to engage with them in their local languages. So which actually what it gives them a very good connect. At the same time, there is a kind of a personal bonding which happens in a smaller locations or a tier two cities largely, because the customer believe in coming to the office. The customer believe in coming and knowing the status of a loan, and that's how the most of the banks, even the largest of the large banks or a smaller bank, it doesn't matter. So they actually have a very different kind of an engagement as compared to your tier one cities. And you also have a kind of a customer loyalty program. You always try to tell them, if you're going to engage with me further, obviously you're going to be getting a better deal in the next deal going forward. At the same time, as you engage with the customer, okay, you also try to bring in a perspective of a reference model. Okay, if you're able to get that reference model, and if he's able to build that relationship, I think it goes a very long way. And obviously, when you engage with a local language, the what a competitive advantage you carry is there is something called customer for life approach. Largely, if you look at the vintage, what it says is, if a customer takes a loan from a tier two, tier three city, he stays with you for a longer run compared to the tier one city. Emotionally, he actually stays with you, because if you would have given you or if a sales guy would have given the customer the delight in the first sale, it actually goes on a long way. So if I could straight away relate to the most largest NBFC like Sundaram, or for that matter even Hinduja Finance or Shriram Finance, the engagement on a personal level is a very different model what they carry. Largely, if you look at Sundaram, even today, a sales manager approaches the customer. He's a localite guy, and the language spoken is local, and the engagement is very different than what it really happens in the urban city. So for me, largely, you have to be having that local flavor. Okay, you bring in that local flavor to the table. And last but not the least, what I would say is you need to understand the customer needs. Okay, now the customer could be a salaried, because salaried you have a very limited understanding. But if you look at if he's a self-employed, the needs are very different. Okay, he will try to evolve with you on a long journey. Okay, that's why I said customer for life approach. If you have that, the customer would call you, or even if you are able to move to other companies, he will still stick to you. So that's how we all evolved. Though what is a Bangalore was called as a tier 2 city then. Okay, so we have even now we have customers. I actually started my career way back in 20th Century Finance. I have more than 150, 200 customers. Sir, you go to any other company or whichever company you go, it doesn't matter. We'll stay with you.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's a kind of the what advantage one carries in the tier 2, 3 cities. And I think basic, as I said, empathy, and you also want to connect emotionally. The world would have evolved. AI, the digital, we have seen the kind of avatar. I think we are the only generation we have seen all this kind of things happening like a tsunami. But I would say if you are able to engage them with emotionally, if you are able to engage them, periodically, I think we are there. And I think three cities are the very, very key driving force of volumes, which also gives you a very high yield model so that it balances the urban wherever you take a call. And as a business, actually, it's a most critical segment. That's my
Great.
point.
No, thanks. That's great. That's great. And that's a stupendous number, right? 82% of India population having mobile phones. And we all know that, our elderlies in our house today all use WhatsApp. So it's a channel that is suddenly, blown up. And the next question, Aarti, for you is, now, as we said, borrowers are increasingly turning to WhatsApp and their regional platforms. So what's your omni-channel strategy, right, for your support, right? And so that you can meet them where they are today as a channel of preference, right?
Yeah. So today, we have to use AI only for developing our systems modules so they talk to each other through an API model. But exactly, we need to categorize their requirements. Say, we have to categorize whatever queries is there based on their rate of interest or foreclosure charges, or they want to know about their interest certificate. So we need to ensure that the deliverable reaches through them through this omni-channel. So for example, a customer is making a call over a phone and he says, I want interest certificate. The next minute, it should reach him through his registered email ID. So that's the connect, and that's the module we are supposed to build in an omni-channel module, 360 degrees. So we cover the 360 channels. So through WhatsApp, through phone banking, through other media platform, he might raise a media complaint. So we should be able to understand, circumvent, and process his requirement, his deliverable. So AI comes into place only for talking into each other's systems, but the deliverable has to reach him wherever he's sitting.
And whichever channel they come from.
Whichever channel they come from, our system should be equipped in such a way that he raises at one phone call. The deliverable should either reach him through WhatsApp or through email, registered email ID, or through post, depending on the nature of query or the requirement his deliverable is. So yes,
Perfect.
WhatsApp is, and we have WhatsApp chat. So which means we keep engaging because they're happy to sit. See, today, we don't do 24/7 work. We also do our, small personal work or do our transactions or mobile banking. So when somebody is engaging us continuously, do you need a
Correct.
statement? Yes. Do you need a statement from 23/24 or 25/26? Yes. Immediately it comes. So the immediate response which he gets is what keeps us going, and it helps us to build also as a business network with him, because that is a word of mouth. So the minute
True.
he trusts the word of mouth is when we also get profit. We also, build in a better customer portfolio. Language as such, yes, we have to have it in that particular. So give him the choice. Today, we all want to live by choices. So we have to give him the choice. Would you like to, speak in Marathi, or you'd like to have in English? So it's just switch, 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 and he's happy. End of the day, within 10 minutes, he's achieved what he wants.
Awesome. Awesome. So it's basically not true omni-channel, right? Where channel is abstract, where it's a continuous
Yes.
experience. You can come from any channel and we'll still engage you wherever you are and
Yes.
then have your conversation. And awesome. And Dr. Kumar, there's a question for you. So we have now, as the support models are evolving, right, from being P2P to going digital, right? Where, as Aarti also mentioned that the branches are not being preferred now. People prefer that you do digital, and that's how customers also prefer, right? Um, So in a mobile first economy today, how are you designing support journeys that feel easy for borrower, right? And this kind of ties into this whole omnichannel strategy also, right? I think you're on mute, Dr. Kumar.
You're in mute, sir.
Yeah, I think if you ask me, I think I still remember in one of the panel discussion I was talking about dunya aapke mushki mein hai. So that's how our life is evolved today. So I think our the bodies what are charging would be low, but we'll always keep the mobile charger up. So that's a one simple understanding of our life, the way it is evolved. So I think every aspect of our business is actually developed and designed to keep that what is a mobile much more robust in terms of how we make the customer engagement in terms of what is a keeping that mobile so easy to access at the same time how it can actually advantage the customer needs in all. So if you look at when I say from an onboarding of a business uh, to a what a credit decision to a disbursement to the end what a customer needs, as Aarti said, today I think WhatsApp is also what is a well designed and so well equipped. I think you get updates so instantly. So when I say what to say P2P, the business model is concerned, yes, if you look at our own the business model, what we follow using the mobile phones, the moment the customer onboarding happens, okay, he gets an instant alert from a WhatsApp saying that his particular loan has been onboarded. And the what the next process is the credit process. Once a credit process is updated, he gets an instant alert saying that his loan is in process. The moment he gets an update, the particular loan is sanctioned. So he gets an update saying that the loan is approved, and then finally comes your loan disbursement, the EMIs or the tenure or whatever. So I would say I think we are moving completely towards the mobile phone management. It is what a no more you're going to be worried about the laptops or systems of the world to get to know your systems. I think everything is available there, and most of the companies actually work upon or what they design their product or services related to the mobile phones. So that's my basic
Great.
view. Yeah.
I just want
We're
to
going to
add
be,
one
yeah.
point over here, if I may. Today, we all like to have instant message, instant updates. So the minute, as Dr. Kumar rightly said, right from onboarding, right until he closes the loan and collects his original documents, and we say, Tata, bye bye, see you. He would like to be constantly updated, even without asking anything. So the minute we start engaging, yes, welcome, this is your loan, this is your account, this is your stage wise, step wise, he's happy. Today, he need not or he does not want to knock at anybody's door and say, what has the status? So he gets an instant update, is really fine, is really happy. And that's exactly what we
Yeah.
also prefer these days. We don't want to answer calls. A confirmation comes, then we know that things are moving in the right pace and the right time. And unless in other ways, there is an out of blue question which he wants to come and ask us.
I would like to
God.
add. I'd like to add another kind of a tagline saying the mobile first economy. What I feel is I think everything is getting designed and everything is worked upon a kind of a mobile first economy, or I would say mobile first. So I think the moment because the mobile gives you so many perspectives. Okay, let's say in the morning you get up, so you have a WhatsApp good morning messages coming in. You also check your business. Anybody is updated about your businesses the previous night. What is the update? And you also get any update from your customers. So and last but not the least, you have your funny friends giving your business updates about what's happening in your company and your company. So I think we are I think definitely moving towards that mobile first economy and mobile first approach. I think the what a mobile phone technology. I still remember I had a pencil box in my pocket called Motorola, so it would actually just pop up from my pocket. And today I think Madhav, I can't just imagine. Okay, where and to a very long journey we have reached. I used to use BlackBerry, and from BlackBerry to an Android phone, I think it's a very interesting journey. The world has evolved, and I think it also makes life easy for the banks and financial institution to reach out to the customers, to engage on various requirements, for a statement, because generally post loan, it's like your post what delivery of your car, the service becomes very critical. So
True.
today if you have a very right technology, I'm sure I think the company like Lead Square I think provides that kind of a platform for customer delight. So if you're able to use a right kind of system and technology which is integrated to your mobile phones, I think we are there.
Yeah, true. No, I think at least square, I think that's our aspiration also. But coming back to the questions, and I think we have probably time. I think that conversation is so interesting that I think we'll just have time for another two, three questions, and then we'll open to the audience. So there's another interesting question on AI because we also have learned, and as you'll also aware, that not all support team members are equal, right? It's like fingers, and different people have different needs. So, how are you starting to use AI to train support teams and not just automate responses, right? What kind of data is helping you coach for tone, speed, accuracy, and how do you enable it, right? Because you'll have some who are great, and it's a classic problem, right? In a class, there are students who are top of the curve, there are class who are the bottom. How do you bring them up the curve using AI, right? Today, how you leveraging that? And this is open to all panelists, and we could have a brief response from all of you.
I think let me take that first part of it. I think earlier when we really look in terms of the agents when they were calling to the customers random basis, you were hearing the calls and giving the feedback to to the agents and that part of it. But now with this AI, I think what can you incorporate into their day-to-day basis, and then instantly really feedbacks with saying that okay, how good you did it in the call with the customer, because the analytics which AI can do it in an instant basis. One is at the end of the month, you provided a feedback, and once just the call is finished, I get in the feedback that your communication with the customer was such good with the certain parameters on that, and it gives you a room of an improvement on instant basis. So that's the one of
Hmm.
incorporation into your day-to-day part of it, and just getting it that call on call. How do you improve it?
Right.
That's one of the way, and that's what we feel it like. That's what doing is indirectly AI helping them inbuilt into the calling agents system analysis at the back end and giving him an instant like pop up is that okay, this is how you did it, this is where you could improve.
Correct.
That's an
Great.
instant, like what Aarti shared is that today's word is more about an instant, like which is in a 2 minutes, the 2 minutes Maggie. So the feedback after in a year or in a month, I will miss it out. But if you get an instant, you really see that okay, this is what I did wrong and I can improve it. And that's
Yes,
how you
because
really
our
help. Yeah.
performance appraisal are only once in a year, but our intense appraisal is, right from across the counter when we sit across the customer,
Right.
he crash it on your face immediately. But that's good in a way. So where it also calls for improvement, but we have to take it when a customer appreciates us and tells us, "Wow, you've done a great job." He believes us because we are the like a face of the company to them, so they trust us and more than so when he shouts, we should also take it and calls for improvement, unlike our performance appraisal, which is once a year.
I have a very different perspective. Though I think first of all, let's remember, I think we're all humans. Actually, we created the AI. We actually created digital, and we created the entire system to make our life easy on a day-to-day basis. So I still remember and recall during our times or even till a few years back, I think the technology and system should change. It should take little time and change. I'm sure, I think the moment we started our panel discussion till the time 50 minutes, I think world would have much more fasterly evolved. The technology and system is changing very, 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 very fast. So while I say this, yeah, I think AI is there to support us, but it is not the whole thing that which will push your business to do, because end of the day, it is a human intervention which really is important, important because our businesses are driven with a lot of emotions and empathy, which I always reiterated. So we are in in the business of vehicle loans. So while I say we do new cars and we do used cars as well, so there is a lot of human intervention in our business model. If you look at largely the automobile business, I'm sure even Aarti's entity company is a very large vehicle finance company. They still engage with their customers personally, though AI for their automation of certain aspects of business. But it is not a fully transformed AI
We
business.
can't as well. We can't use a human interaction, and end of the day, the face-to-face interaction plays a major role. Then AI is a tool where it could only substantiate his requirements, his needs, his paperwork is done quicker. But end of the day, the face interaction, the trust, the belief he has, that's how we have to complete our business journey with him. End of the day, our journey with him is also very important, and we also make do business, repeated business with multiple products
I'll
as
just
well.
try to add up two other factors. So one is actually you finish your loan disbursement with the customer, and there is a different kind of an engagement which you do. Largely, let's say, I'm sure I think Prabal will vouch with me. If a home loan customer takes a loan with him, so he would only come back to him only on the year end for an interest principal statement. Otherwise, he's good. So you can engage with him. You can't give him another loan because his salary has to double or his income has to really go up. But obviously, I think AI plays a very vital role because instantly the customer needs a kind of a statement or he needs a kind of interest principal breakup. So I think that ends the matter there. But again, depends on the business model and the business segment you are in. So AI has to be used in a very, very different form depending on your business and the models which you operate. Okay, now when you say, I would say AI plus automation plays a very vital role because to read a balance sheet, to read an income tax the document when a customer submits, there were times when the credit manager to take his own time to appraise a particular file, he would even take 3-4 days. Today, to understand the your bank statements or your cash flows, it's a matter of few minutes. So I think where the AI plays a very critical role. So as I say, AI is there to stay. It's furthermore going to get stronger. It's going to come in a very different avatars to help us back. But it all depends on the business model which you can choose and how you want to use AI. And last but not the least, AI is actually made by us. So we design the way we want to see our business, and whether it is actually done to support our business. It is not everything.
True,
Yeah.
true. So basically, one is how AI will be used as per the business needs in different areas to enhance the experience in terms of engagement by complementing humans. That's one part. The second is, I think, on a lot of inbound calls when the service call happens, I understand that ability to analyze those call and uh, identify the gaps in the training and then help AI identify what training needs to be done. And this is again a personalization at a employee level, right? Because
Yes.
logically we talk about customer experience, but there's an employee experience also,
Yes.
because how your employee has an experience or learning translates into what your customer experience is.
What he
So
engages with the customer is what matters a lot. Yes.
precisely. So you're trying to also transform, and this is what we also are looking at. We're doing is how do you transform that understanding of the conversations they're having, identify what are the training needs, so that the agents who are having a conversation, employees who are having a conversation can improve their conversation, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
on the other side, how do you digitize? And you rightly said, Dr. Kumaran, how you're summarizing something for the credit manager so that what used to take 3-4 days can now be done. So there's use case around all of these to enable people. One last question, and then before we go to the audience, and I'll request if you can keep it short, and I would like all of you to give me a few uh, pointers on that. Is customer support as a revenue driver today. We all know it's a standard marketing term, right? Getting a existing customer, growing existing customer is more expensive than so easier, cheaper than getting a new customer, right? So the cost of acquisition is always on the higher side. So, and now we hear a lot that people are seeing support as a revenue driver also, right? Because that's a cross-sell opportunity that you have. Every opportunity to engage is also an opportunity to develop empathy, trust, and then also sell, right? So how do you look at support as a revenue driver? And we got just another 1 minute, so quick brief 30 seconds from all of you.
Basically a transparency. The minute you have a transparency, that calls for a bigger channel, or it opens the wider market for cross-sell. How transparent you're in your first transaction builds on to the next transaction automatically.
Perfect.
I think, Ashish,
Awesome.
if you gave in a minute for all three, then I would, as what Aarti shared as a transparency, the second word definitely comes in mind is building in a trust. Because as what Sampath shared is about the housing loan, a trust for 20 years is something where he really enjoys the journey and he may come back on the certain other things part of it. So I think trust is very important parameters and that takes time to build up that trust. So
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
it's one of the
So
points which I can share in a 30 seconds time frame.
yeah, I think we have only 1 minute each. So yeah, so one of the data says from Forbes is increasing customer retention just by 5% can grow your revenue by up to 75%. So what I would say is, if you're able to take care of your existing customers and have that same logic which I said, customer for life approach, and Aarti, I think said it right. The word of mouth is actually what is well cultivated in your organization. Okay, and if you're talking about high about your company and the product, I'm sure I think that is where the revenue comes in. And to onboard a new customer, the kind of costing what you need to go through, or to retain an existing customer, there's a huge variant in terms of the cost. So existing customers playing with the data, keeping them delight, and ensuring they also grow with you. I think that's a fabulous combination. So that actually comes with the culture. It doesn't happen just on paper or just because you're giving a better interest rate or you're taking care of your agent. Doesn't work like that. It has to come from your DNA, and every employee should display that kind of an attitude.
Perfect. That's great.
Just
Thanks a lot for
one word,
this.
Ashish. I think
Yeah.
it's not nowadays customer support is gone. It's more of a customer services because support is something which was an event based. Services is a continual journey between both of them.
True, very
Perfect. That's a brilliant term actually. Ashna, I'm going to hand it over to you now. Thanks a lot. It was a very engaging conversation. And Ashna, I think I'll hand it over to you so that we can open it to the forum, the audience. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you so much to all our panelists. I'm sure our audience also found this session extremely helpful and insightful. I will quickly, so we have like 4, 5 questions. I'll quickly take up the questions, and I think anyone from the panel can take up the questions. So the first question is, in what ways can customer loyalty be measured in the context of support services?
Sorry, can you just repeat the question?
Yes. In what ways can customer loyalty be measured in the context of support services?
See, loyalty cannot be measured because there'll be various parameters in which we channelize the customer's experience. So it's not like some reward point sessions or loyalty session doesn't work like that. But how loyal he'll be is when we have the transparency, and the rest of the 2 points told by my colleagues over here on the session is where he will come repeatedly with us with different products. Like he will come with us for credit cards, and if he's satisfied with the experience in credit cards, then he will take a home loan. If he's happy with the home loan, he will go on to the auto loan. The only key factor here is the person who is engaging with him should be clear, and not like multiple people talking and making a jigsaw about it. So a clear conversation involving with the rest of the people brings in a better so that brings loyalty. So
I'll just add to this. I think we are in a world of buy one, get one free world, or I would say most of the things products are sold on 50% discount. You cannot keep everyone happy all the time. Okay. At the same time, if the first sale or the first connect with the customer is absolutely transparent, and the offerings are very crystal clear, very explained to him, and if it is very what to say, again I would repeat the same word, empathy is displayed. I think okay, that is where you create a kind of a loyalty for a long journey. So you cannot keep all the customer happy all the time. You need to have that kind of a definition. Okay, way to draw a line in an organization. You can't be giving offer. You might be working on a set a particular rate or a particular funding levels, but you can't be keeping everybody happy. But what will differentiate is the first connect, and your first approach to the customer will actually take you a long way.
Praful sir, if you would like to add it, otherwise we move on to the next question.
No, I think both of them touched on it, but I think loyalty has changed in a word because earlier if you really look, customer satisfaction was one of the method which we used to do it, but customer generally gives in a feedback as usual is when he's not really happy. But the another method of using it is basically when I look to my customer services team. Fundamentally, one of them is the customer retention rate, customer re-coming to me in term, because how he is engaging with me, what is my retention rate, what is my collection rate on it. That's how we really see that how the bonding and the loyalty between both the side is there, but specifically from the customer end. So that's the new parameters which we really focus on starting measuring for my customer services team.
Sure. Thank you for your inputs. We move on to the next question. How do we improve the borrower journey and keep customers engaged while staying compliant with RBI guidelines and delivering on business goals?
Oh God, that's an ashna means you have
That's a very
touched
lengthy
two different
answer to be
poles
said.
of
Yeah.
the earth, south and north.
Yes.
One side we definitely want to keep the borrowers, and other side someone is dragging is an RBI. But yes, the definitely RBI is doing their time in terms of balancing between both the parties in terms of keeping the customers. And I appreciate from what RBI is saying in terms of customers. Data integrity and that all with the technologies evolving and that all. Uh, I think it's more about is what we touched from the start part of it, a regular interaction, and somewhere we touched this is that how do you build a trust with your customers in today's world? I recently was looking to one of the videos, and AI is as what, but AI is equally important for us to use and equally dangerous. And that's where like, okay, how do you really keep them engaging is your sessions, like what a different sessions at the branch level. A human touch always needs to be there with the customers, even if we move in 21st to 22nd century also in another couple of years, to 75 years from now, but human touch always needs to be there. So as far as closers in terms of the branches, how closely you interact with the customers is what your borrowers will always be with you. You understand, you shares with them upcomings, even with the RBI. So RBI do talks about certain norms which you talk with the customers, make them understand about a clarity and transparency about like what Aati shared is the transparency in terms of what's their loan structure, how much is the left out, what is their, and that's what brings in a trust and transparency which you'll keep your customers with you in terms of that part.
I'll just add to this. See, as an organization, we always have these do's and don'ts. So we know, okay, what we are supposed to communicate and what we are not supposed to communicate. But here comes RBI. I think RBI has actually done a phenomenal job in terms of what is setting a very proper guidelines for every step of the business of our lending activity. Could be post or pre-sale thing. So it's very clearly defined. Okay, what should a customer be told? Okay, what should not be told to him or communicated to him? Okay, there is a kind of a very strong and well laid policy. But how do you engage with the customer and how do you have to what you deal with him at good times and bad times? So generally, all the compliance act, what it comes into picture or the policy comes into play only when it defaults. Otherwise, it's a good engagement and it's like a good married life. It goes very smooth. So all these compliances come only when things go their way. Yeah, so I think RBI has done a phenomenal job and they're trying to furthermore make things easy for the NBFCs, the banks, the finance companies, as well as the customers. Today, it's very transparently made. So I think that's where we are.
Sure. Aarti ma'am, if you want to add in, otherwise we move on to the last question.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Arunima from the audience has dropped in a question. With the implementation of the 140 series for promotional calls, how do you think this will impact the retention of loans? What can we do to increase the call pickup?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yes. With the implementation of the 140 series for promotional calls, how do you think this will impact the retention of loans? What can we do to increase the call pickup?
Retention of loans is another big, I would say it is very important because the market has so many competitors. So retaining the customer is only through loyalty program. So when we have multiple products, so we have competition in the market, and retention then plays a major role. So how do we retain a customer? We can retain only the good customers, matlab who is a non-delinquent customers, where his track record is good, where we can offer him another service to his requirement, other service to match his requirement. Say for example, we have a car loan or a two-wheeler loan. He would like to have a very customized rate or a very reduced rate, is when we play a major role in retention. And taking top-up loans, when a customer wants to go in for an improvement loans, or he wants it for education, or he wants to have it for his personal use, so we need to give him at a very subsidized rate. So that is when we'll be able to retain customers. Yes, because we get a lot of customers through word of mouth. So when we retain one customer, I'm sure we'll be able to engage and manage the rest of the customer portfolio as well.
Sure. Thank you.
Ashna, if I add here, or we are done with the time?
No, sir, we can definitely.
Okay. The reason it is more about than a promotional call, and I would really say that the government has done the right job, because when we get in a call from any number, at least now we know that it's in a promotional call and this has been called by XYZ company. Now it's with us to pick or not, because it's not only the promotional call with 140, but below that it do comes as that which company or who is calling you on a promotional call. Now, if as we discussed earlier, is in terms of customer branding, or the customer are my front face. If customer word of mouth spreads, definitely they will pick up. So the answer is how you bring your brand or your customers interact with you so that they pick up your phone. And even if it is in a 140, and it is, I think it is more, it will be more advantage to the companies who are customer centric and part of it. And you will have a lesser drop of the call with that part of it, with that transparency.
I'll just add to this. See, obviously, if you have to engage with customers, I think one of the best reason is, or I would say one of the best thought is to call him, personally speak to him and understand, okay, how is he doing and how's business? It's not about only the new sale. So you have to reach him out at some stage of the journey with the loan. Okay, now if you look at, I think on a daily basis, everyone gets different kind of calls, unknown numbers. Okay, there are various kind of call which comes in. I think most of the calls, I don't know, we should be very cautious in our taking calls. So if we have a kind of a specific number given to your promotional call, it is not that just because you're a finance company, okay, you get that option. No, you're a regulated company, you fall in certain guidelines. Only then you have actually provided that kind of a series of numbers. Only then you're authorized to call. Today, if we engage with a particular agent or an associate, we take an undertaking that you can't be calling every customer on behalf of us. So I think it's a very good, well thought process. So you need to have that kind of a differentiation between a regular call and a promotional call. A promotional call is also a cost. So the company which is actually using that is also incurring a cost. So might be out of 100 customers, you're able to only retain one customer. I think that one customer would give you a business, which is the cost actually you incurred on the 100 calls. So that is where it's very important. And you can't be complaining about, okay, why it is a one, what is a 40-digit number or whatever call comes in. So it's a good thing for our business so that we differentiate and we pick that calls. Generally, we don't try to disconnect those calls.
That's correct.
Thank you so much. And before we end this session, I would like to once again thank you to all our panelists for taking our time for this session. And thank you so much, Ashish, for moderating this. And again, thank you so much for all the attendees who have actually, put in effort and joined this session. I really hope that you found this session extremely insightful. And please keep following Lead Square for more such insightful sessions. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.